What's up, guys? Welcome to Behind the Business podcast. Today we have Chris Primeau here. He is the CEO of Impact Society, a mental health charity dedicated to building youth resilience through social emotional learning.
Yeah.
As CEO, he drives the strategic expansion of the organization and its signature Heroes program, which has empowered over 250,000 youth globally. Definitely dive into that. Chris brings a decade of executive leadership experience in the nonprofit sector, focusing on the strategic planning, organizational development, and major fundraising initiatives. Under the guidance, Impact Society prioritizes data-driven results, leveraging research that has shown a 45% increase in youth resilience through their programs. Chris is a thought leader in blending strategic business execution with profound social impact in the field of mental well-being.
Cool.
Damn.
I like that line. I might keep it.
Yeah. And he just made the top 40 under 40.
Yeah.
Right before 40.
Like 3 weeks after the deadline was my 40th birthday. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's
Yeah,
crazy. Good
just
for
in
you,
time.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's hear the story. I feel like there's a lot to unpack here. I definitely want to get into mental well-being and all that stuff, especially with business and stuff. But yeah, bring us to how you got to becoming the CEO and what were you doing before?
Short story long. Started a career helping professions, I guess, helping mentor young kids who are at risk. I'd had a tough time growing up and had good people standing in the gap and knew how important that was and wanted to pay that forward and realized I needed the right tools. So that's actually when I started using the Heroes program. It was back in 2009. I met Jack Toth, who was the founder of the organization at the time, and they just released some research around building resilience and building story and identity and how important that was in terms of having strong mental health. And so I started using that program as a mentorship tool, and then actually went to China over 2 summers to build a ESL camp for youth who'd been traumatized using the framework of the Heroes program. So I'd known the program for a long time and was working for a number of years in mental health and addictions, and working at an organization here in Calgary called the Calgary Dream Center. And at the time building programs to help people get out of the cycle of homelessness and addiction.
So how old were you at that point when you, I guess, started their using their program? But if we go a little bit further back, what were you doing?
I was like 23, 24 when I started using the Heroes program.
Yeah.
Just starting my career, still going to school. Did an undergrad in behavioral science.
Yeah. I find that 23, 24 is when a lot of mental or self-discovery happens for I guess everyone, right? But especially for males, I feel, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the middle, like that's like the middle journey. As I think of like an adolescent career, if you will, starting around 11 to 14 is early adolescence. And then 18 to 21, you're not done being an adolescent. You're still developing. Like, men don't get their frontal lobe, which is the really important part of the brain that is responsible for forward thinking, decision making, strategy, wisdom, until about 25. So that 18 to 21 is that time of life where we see a lot of, that's where we're figuring out who am I? Where am I going? What am I going to do for the rest of my life? It's time to grow up, and there's a lot of things I need to learn. Now I'm out on my own. I'm independent of home. I'm independent of family, but I still have to rely on them. I still have them in my life, but my life has dramatically changed now.
How do you feel though with people turning 18? They say like that's when you're an adult.
No,
it's really
it's an
not right.
And becoming an adult's an evolution. I know lots of adults who probably wouldn't qualify, to be honest. Think of what is a responsible citizen adult in our world look like, and so biologically we know that takes years. 25 to 30 is really when from a neurological, biological level that's when we're grown up. From a emotional health level, like I said, some people never grow up, and others can mature faster, especially when they have the right supports and go through things in the healthiest way possible.
Yeah, I don't think it ever ends actually, like growing up, right? And
no.
It's like I feel like I'm still growing up, and you said you were 23, 24 and you took the Heroes course.
Yeah, yeah.
What brought you to take that course? And because like I've
yeah,
never heard
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So yeah, what brought you to it, and maybe kind of share what that program is.
So I was running after school programs in South Calgary. A lot of those kids at risk, mom and dad not really in the picture, a lot of broken families, a lot of tough stuff that you and I would probably familiarize ourselves with. So it's really good at connecting with these young people, especially the young guys who were getting into trouble and needed somewhere to go, needed a mentor,
we did a lot.
father figure in their life, someone who had that experience too, because there's lots of people who do that work who don't have a lot of lived experience, and they have a different difficulty. For me, it was, how do I actually get to these kids? Like now we're connected, but how do I actually get under the hood? How do I help them see their potential? Not just stop doing those bad things, but realize like that they have a lot more opportunity and potential doing the right things and doing things that they love to do at the same time. And really the core work around then, because I was doing my education in behavioral science, was looking at a lot of narrative psychology, like storytelling, the stories we tell ourselves and how that impacts our mental health, and around resilience, knowing that resilience really is the prerequisite to positive mental health. So how do we do more of it? Can it be changed? Can it be improved? And I was at a conference and ran into someone who worked with the Impact Society and met Jack, who was the founder, got to know the program, and signed up for the 2-day training like that week.
Okay.
Yeah, and started using it like later that month. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. And then you went to China after?
Yeah. Okay. So a group, a counseling organization and educators at the English school in Beijing, actually. They had known actually my father, who'd worked internationally doing a lot of relief work when I was a kid. And they were looking for people to support the counseling organization in Sichuan province, just outside of Chengdu. They'd had a catastrophic earthquake in 2009. So they were looking for groups and programs that could develop an ESL camp experience for kids who'd been traumatized by that earthquake, and build their resilience. So another thing that we know about resilience is not just that it's the prerequisite to positive mental health, but we also know that it's the key to trauma in a big way. Whether it's before the trauma, so people with high resilience are more likely to be able to navigate through trauma, learn and grow through trauma, or during the trauma, providing them with resilience training and focus, and increasing their resilience helps them to deal with that immediate trauma, as well as after the fact. People who've had post-traumatic stress disorder, by having the resilience built in, especially an identity formation type of process, a storytelling type of process, whether that's through like counseling like EMDR or things like that, or something like the Heroes program that boosts their resilience, they're more likely to experience post-traumatic growth instead of post-traumatic stress. So this was why, like, it was pretty cool to know at this time even that the Chinese government back in 2010 was like, we need to increase the resilience of these kids as soon as possible. Otherwise, we're going to have a generation in this city of 10 million people with some severe symptoms of post-traumatic stress.
I guess, how do you deal with, or how do you figure out the resilience that someone needs to go to? Because I'll give you, everyone has their own battles in life and something that they need to overcome. And like I've done a lot of self-development courses, and I guess if you look at it that way, you are becoming essentially resilient to something that sometimes you don't even know why you behave that way. And it could be a toxic behavior or negative behavior or whatever, or even negative or toxic thinking, right? How do you guys discover that, or how would you say even to measure that, hey, you need to do this to be resilient in order to do that? Is that similar to having a breakthrough, would you say? Because like
interesting,
because I've had a lot of breakthroughs in my life where I'm like, oh my God, I was like this because of this, and now I have the choice to choose that, right?
Me too. But I wouldn't be here without them.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So these are little breakthroughs that happen. Is that similar to resilience? And then it seems like you guys are measuring resilience, or like how do you even measure that?
So I'll tell you, I can give you, we can go a long way on this one. And so cut me off as soon as you've had your fill, because resilience is amazing, and it is so multifaceted that it makes it hard to measure, first of all. So how do we measure it? So we've measured it in published research papers as well as pre and post studies using a variety of different tools, because you want to use different measurements to make sure that you're actually doing the thing, not just one measurement.
Yeah.
So like we've used the flourishing model for tens of thousands of pre and post evaluations over the years. And within that, there's a resilience cluster of 10 different domains, psychological and sociological, so interpersonal strengths, as well as internal strengths that help that show the resilience difference before heroes and after heroes. So we run that quite often, a lot, actually, thousands of participants per year. And we've had
how long's heroes? And
good question.
Maybe elaborate on.
We'll get back to resilience. So it's your grade 7 health class. So remember that.
It's a what?
Your grade 7 health class is really what Heroes is focused on. We teach this in different ages, stages all throughout, but our main focus for the Heroes program is within Canadian grade 7 health and life skill classrooms. So remember health class in grade 7, grade 8?
Kinda.
What was it like?
Well, I don't really remember much,
Did you have the question box?
Yeah, we had a question box,
Was there ever like a banana demonstration, that kind of stuff?
A banana?
No. Okay. Yeah, I had a weird upbringing for sure. But health class is always a little awkward. And a little
there was a
stinky,
health class. I remember health class.
Where deodorant kids, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's not like this. This completes all those outcomes, though. They're looking for a health class.
Okay.
But what this does is actually the first course that many of the young people who take it will ever take that's about them.
So Heroes is a course, and at I guess what age?
11 to 14 is
11
the
to 14.
Focus.
Okay.
Early adolescence. So the program's about 20 weeks. So
20 weeks.
15 to 20 weeks.
Wow.
So this is in the classroom that you're learning this program.
So this is in like public schools right now? Crazy.
Yeah. So we had in Calgary about 5,000, 6,000 students last year, just in Calgary and area, about over 15,000 nationally. So it's in a lot of programs. It's also aligned with and completes the curriculum outcomes for health and life skills. So that's what it is. It's a training tool for teachers and their program. It's a turnkey approach to them teaching health class, not just getting those outcomes in terms of fulfilling curriculum goals, but actually an experiential journey for those young people to build their confidence, their character, their integrity, and their purpose. And those are the 4 modules. So it's a full program.
That's crazy, man.
And this is just one of many that we have. Yeah.
I saw in there too. It's like it's helping with self-image.
Yeah.
And I think all I remember when I was in school is just like, what career do you want to be in? And you do like this like quick like 30 questions. And
that's our second last chapter.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's about your purpose, your true north. Who do you want to be when you grow up? Versus what job do you want? It has to do with vocation. Like we have a young gal who's a lawyer now who in her grade 8 classroom wrote, I want to be a fair and just lawyer to help families like mine. She's a family lawyer now.
Crazy.
And she still has her journal.
Yeah.
Like this is the journal about helping craft who you are, starting with not where are you going with it, not putting that stress on these kids. They got enough stress coming from the world of who you're going to be.
Yeah.
It's like, who are you? And how do you tell, what does that even mean? Mm-hmm. So we give them the simple demonstration in week 1 and we carry it through the whole program of a water bottle. Okay, this is a nice water bottle. This is a Yeti. But usually a plastic water bottle is enough because it's not about the container.
Yeah.
It's about what's inside.
Okay.
And we want every kid who completes this program to know that what's inside of them, their strengths, are as important for their life as water is for their life. When they shower, when they have a sip of water from when it rains, those types of things. We want them to associate their strengths as what's inside. And that's the core of who they are. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to identity. It's such a complicated thing. We're not trying to teach them to be, to understand all these facets. We're trying to teach them to understand who they are and what they have inside and what makes them strong.
Which is nice. I mean, I feel like when we were in school, they didn't have, like most of the programs were like, well, I feel like they didn't even have programs. It was like math, social studies, science.
Teachers trying to get to the curriculum comes. They have a lot to do. They are the most important people in our kids' lives. Mm-hmm. My kids are now in school full time, which means they spend more time in that classroom with those kids than I do on most days.
Yeah.
So I really hope that they have friends like this.
Yeah.
And our integrity, it's funny, but like we have 3 weeks on integrity, it's all about relationships. So often think, what does integrity look like? And we have that quote, it's doing the right thing even when no one's looking. But it's now about the people that you're doing the things for, that you're using these strengths with, and how you connect more with people who are people builders and people who build you up and learn how to be that kind of a friend as well. So we're changing not just their self-image, but we're also changing their image of others. They start to see others through that same strength-based lens.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to teach, right?
Yeah.
And you've been the CEO for 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years, yeah.
How have you seen, I guess, has the program changed at all, and how have you seen the kids deal with that? Because there's a lot of, the society's obviously changed, especially with social media. And what kids have access to. Have you seen a shift over the last 5 years with your programs and the kids?
Yeah, especially coming through COVID. We know that uncertainty and isolation make mental health worse. Any human.
Uncertainty
Uncertainty and isolation. So you don't tell them that the future, we don't know what's going to happen next, and put them in a room without human contact.
Yeah.
How long will it take for you to crack?
Yeah, it didn't take us too.
Yeah. I started playing video games again. That was fun. Yeah. But all's joking aside,
everyone started drinking again or whatever, right?
How many stories like that, right? That some people
alcohol
turned it to
consumption
good.
Was huge during COVID.
Yeah. Some people turned it to good and made a way.
Yeah.
And others didn't have the internal or external supports to be able to weather that storm, and it brought them into their worst, right? So it was a time when we were really, like, the spotlight was on mental health, and we knew that we had a mental health crisis before that in our country, especially around youth. We know that 1 out of 4 Canadian youth under the age of 18 right now has a mental health disorder. We know that 1 out of 2 will experience a significant mental health crisis before the age of 21.
I think it's everyone.
Yeah, we are all going to deal with it, or be that person when someone else deals with it.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, mental health and all that stuff, especially after COVID, especially with business, is something I'd like to hear what you guys did during COVID too, actually, and how you became resilient. But mental, I feel like it's when we go back to resilience on how to deal with that, that's basically how, if you're self-aware and have the tools to deal with issues when they arise, or you're going through something, that's how you overcome
that's it.
Right. So I guess, how did you, like, I don't know what you guys were doing during COVID, right? Schools were shut down.
We were moving fast, actually. That was our year where we tripled our student numbers year over year.
How are you guys getting, I guess, the business to like, let's hear about the business side.
Let's hear about, like, and COVID's a great way to kind of segue into that, because, like, that was at that time that we had just published the updated version of the program with trauma-informed and narrative research done on the program and our final chapter.
Okay.
Which is really cool. We did a huge overhaul of this, made sure that the CBT and DBT pieces were lined up properly as well. So we had an expert come in and review it from that lens, and we gave this a huge reno, just a facelift, and we really focused on who our customer was,
which was the schools.
It's the teacher.
Oh, the teacher.
Yeah.
So I guess if you could explain how the business model works, where you create the program and then promote it to the teachers.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. We give them the tool to do the job that they want to do. Right.
But doesn't it need to be in, like, a curriculum or something?
It is. Yeah. It is. Oh. Yeah. So all of our programs are aligned with health and life skill curriculums for grade 6 through grade 9 across Canada.
Okay.
So we can tell teachers which chapter is finishing exactly which curriculum piece. Yeah. How does someone get into that? That's a tough one. That's a big industry. Like, education, that's what I mean, is massive. This is the industry that we're in. Curriculum is, you got to be able to get it accredited, approved. Every district has the ability to bring a program in, not have a program. Every school also has that decision-making ability, and then every teacher in certain ways has that decision-making ability. So we got to do a lot of our growth work through all the layers, from government all the way down to individual teachers, just to get our programs out there. And then somebody got to pay for it. So our business model is pretty complicated.
Yeah, it seems very complex, but I feel like once you're in, you're in, right?
The world needs more heroes, so I'll see how far I can take it and deal with the complexities as we grow. But for, like, our business model is, like, most of our funding last year, about 90% of our funding was like fundraised revenue. So whether that's government grants, corporate partnerships, family offices, community organizations and grants, individual donors, the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
Often kind of explain my job as like a casino.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different tables.
Yeah.
Government is very different than an individual donor, different than a grant, different than a family, different than, they're all very unique value props as well as engagement pathways. So just the fundraising piece of it is massive. Yeah.
It seems like you're always probably talking to different groups always and seeing how to get
how do we make this happen? How do we make more heroes next year? We want to help $50. You can have a hero. If not this month, consider us next time. Because this is an opportunity to get ahead of the curve, and that's why I do what I do. Is how early can we get there before risk becomes a life? Knowing that risk is going to happen, how do we help make them as resilient as possible to be able to navigate those storms and become the people that we need in the future?
Yeah. So it's a lot, man. And I guess for you, being a CEO and running the company, what would you say you yourself had to be resilient with and learn in the last couple of years?
Funding, man. Like just making decisions as a growing organization can be hard, especially we don't have an endowment, we don't have any capital. So we're as far as we run, we're a really lean organization that's been on a growth trajectory since 2018. Like we've 10x it since then in terms of number of students that we're serving. Okay. So essentially we're spending what we make every year because we're providing as many programs as we can to as many kids as possible. That's our mandate. So that's probably been the biggest challenge, is making sure that, as CEO, my strategy can't just be about we need more heroes today. It's got to be how do we make sure that this program is bulletproof and that we have more heroes forever. So sustainability is always on my mind. Every grant proposal, every report that I send to a funder, every conversation I have with board members and donors is about how we're going to make this sustainable. So long-term contracts and agreements with whether it's provinces or districts, those are key. But being big enough actually and becoming that trusted brand that is what teachers want in their classrooms. I think number one thing in terms of any strategic decisions have to go through that little pinhole. It's like what's going to have the most effect on as many students as possible. And we know that the teacher is the customer. So it's what's going to get them to use this every time they start that class.
What do you think you've been doing to get the continuous fundraising grants and
I think it's the effectiveness, it's the product market fit for a lot of it'd all be nuanced in terms of different donors and different segments, but I think like the donors who continue to support us year over year, whether they're big or small, understand that the best bang for their buck is in prevention. So often though, prevention's not a provable thing, but we know what this program does. And we know the research on this program in terms of resilience. We know what resilience means in terms of being able to navigate life's storms. So the best way to get ahead of the problem that you care about, whether it's homelessness or addiction, is to inspire that next generation, that kid, to be able to better weather that storm if and when it comes.
I guess, how would you say for someone to be resilient? What would be the first?
Take heroes, any age, any stage, it's effective. It works.
But what about for like entrepreneurs or business?
No.
Because like I feel like
if you're an entrepreneur, there's already probably a high element of resilience there. I think part of maybe even like being a stoic, thinking about ego being the enemy, and like a lot of entrepreneurs have a lot of, I'd say, the hallmarks of resilience. Right? They have a network, they have external supports, they have an internal drive, they're confident, they know enough about themselves to know that this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm going to do, this is where I'm going to go, and this is who I'm going to be. So they got a lot of the pieces already. So I think part of it too is like take an asset-based approach. Like what's already working? And then how do we then make sure that it's working in a more effective way, that it's not just all on me being this label and it's more about the actual things that I bring to the table.
Yes. I agree with you, and I also think a lot of entrepreneurs don't make it. Right? So I feel like you could still be resilient, but still not make it.
And
I think that's like where the mental health.
I agree.
Because I feel like I've gone through so much stuff for myself to get to where I'm at, and we've had a team. We've like let's just say like realtors or entrepreneurs, right? There's if we talk about resilient, there is things that you could be resilient and overcome. But if I also think being in business, and you probably know this too, takes a lot of mental strength, because there's a lot of stuff that happens every day. And I feel like it's almost like a spiritual game where, and correct me if I'm wrong, where it's like if you're able to be more mentally aware and really work on your brain and understand yourself, it's easier to overcome like the obstacles in your career or whatever, right? Because it's never ending. And what I see is like people haven't dealt with a lot of stuff in their past, or haven't dealt with why they are who they are. And most of the time that's what holds them back, right? So it's like, I guess, how does one person, do you think, discover their own faults and programs without, you said this earlier, ego, like it's almost like their ego is in their own way.
Well, we're chasing a label, right?
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot in chapter 2 profoundly, in terms of what are these identity traps, circumstances, fears, and labels. They're not always negative.
Identity traps.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We start to identify as the label. I'm the hustler. I'm the high school quarterback. How many stories about the quarterback that never grew up and never left town because he got stuck at that label at that stage, right?
Okay.
And that's what I mean by identity traps. They can seem okay, and it feels okay sometimes to be. If you've been victimized, you need to understand that you're the victim. However, to live as identifying as that circumstance where I was victimized, doesn't result necessarily in the most, mature view of yourself in the world. Let's put it that way. So back to what I was like.
But how does a victim get out?
We can come to that. That's for a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I work with amazing ones that would make these programs work, because there's a lot. Like my job is to make all that as simple as possible, as early as possible. So resilience doesn't mean that you're going to succeed. Resilience means that you're going to find a way to succeed.
Okay.
And there's the hallmark, I think, in like what I was getting at in the description of the entrepreneur. And resilience, part of resilience is grit as well. Just having grit on its own is actually powerful, but it ain't it.
Yeah.
Like it's a driver for things, but true grit and true resilience rhyme and are part of this beautiful continuum of the ability to learn through adversity. So actually, to look at any CEO, and the times they failed is when they learn the most.
Yeah,
even our demigod Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
His time in the desert and starting up Pixar was his key to becoming the Steve Jobs that we celebrate. The rest is the backstory, right? But that time when he failed was the time where he had to find a way. And those are the stories we love, and that's why we call our program Heroes, because that hero's journey, the call to adventure first is to get to know who you are. And then the next journey starts at the end of the first one, which is where you're going to go with it. And I think for an entrepreneur, that's the excitement of the adventure. Like they want to make money, but like how many entrepreneurs have made their money and then gotten bored and starting up another thing?
A lot.
Right? Because it's that build, it's that story. There's that call to adventure that I think is ceaseless in the mind of a lot of our friends and a lot of entrepreneurs that we admire.
Yeah.
It's a friend, but it can lead you in a way that's just looking at performance and success as the identity that you want to have, but you'll never have that. But if you identify someone who loves to build stuff, see where it goes, you'll always be an entrepreneur. Sometimes you might make $1 million, sometimes you might lose.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hard to get out of that identity trap, right? And I think you do need to be flexible with who you are. And I mean, I've had a lot of failed businesses where I'm like, okay, I'm not that person anymore. And
absolutely.
It's being actually aware and being okay with that, though. But it sucks at the time, right?
Yeah. It's the best game that's not in here, but will be in a future chapter one day is Snakes and Ladders, because that's life.
Okay,
Career
elaborate.
is Snakes and Ladders. You roll the dice. You are the player, though.
Yeah.
But sometimes the opportunity that you were chasing is a ladder, and it takes you up to the next level. Sometimes it's a snake, and either it sets you back a little bit or can set you back a lot. And I think that resilience is a key part to knowing that it didn't set me back as far as I might feel. And I know what to do. I need to roll the dice.
Well, you look at that as like either lessons, and something you learn from the snake, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just part of life.
Well, we learn through story and our own story. And this is taking that way that we all learn and doing it early. So every chapter starts with a story of someone whose life was tough.
Yeah.
But use their strengths or use their gifts, and our example of that chapter of how someone can go from zero to hero through this one attribute. And that's how we stack and layer the journey. So those stories are real. They're real people that we've interviewed. We have videos for. We have a whole tech package that we send to teachers, so they don't have to just have to hit play.
Yeah, I guess how do you create all of that, and like what's your process of that to essentially you're selling to the teachers, right?
Yeah. Like the process of R&D is pretty long. Like we take our framework, and that's we've tested and continue to test, is this framework of feeling, thought, behavior, conviction. That's the brain science of learning. So that's what every chapter is kind of the hard code.
Say that again: feeling,
thought, behavior, conviction. That is how we learn.
Okay.
And at 11 to 14 is when we're learning the most in creating neural pathways that become identity. These are patterns, right? So this program, every chapter that's the hardwiring. So we start with a story that gets great communicators communicate in that same feeling, thought, behavior, conviction part as well. But start with a story that they can identify with. It gets that emotional part of the social emotional component going, gets the feelings going. So we have our story. Then after the story is thinking. So what we have is the first few questions in the journal are about the story. What character did they show up with, or how did this basement or this balcony friend help them through the process and be the game changer for this? And how did stopping, thinking, and choosing help this character to make the right decision at the right time? Like the little lessons, right? And now coming into the story to the concrete. Then they flip the page and it's the same questions, but it's about them. And when have you had a similar situation like this, and who's been there for you like that, or who could be there in the future for you? So they start to think about, so those feelings are now thoughts about other, now they're thoughts about self. Then we go into the classroom discussion, as well as we do a lot of behavioral learning. So they're doing exercises. We have a Jenga game. We have a fear fight with rumpled up paper. It's really cool. But anyways, all that. So feeling, thought, behavior, conviction is a story. Then the journaling about them, about yourself. And then it's now playing with it in the environment with others at the table that also are like, hey, like you're okay, I'm okay. We all have the same thing that we're dealing with today. It might be our fears. It might be who's that person in my life that I can go to when I really need somebody. Those types of things. And I'm now alone in that. That social part is so important to learning anything. And then they get their homework, and that's my favorite part, actually. Now they're out there in the world doing little things, journaling about it, and seeing how doing these things help them feel and how it helped the other person feel. So we're tricking them into like empathy building exercises.
So would you say someone that finishes this course, essentially they're just becoming more resilient with their own lives?
That's the outcome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We do have chapters on resilience, and actually Robin Regier is the story there. It's a two-parter, and it's about the internal parts as well as the external supports that he had when he broke his legs before he started his career. So yeah, it's based on that. So how do we go about it? Then we're looking at curriculum outcomes. We're looking at what's that topic of that program. So we're working on a social studies program right now. That's a big lift, and so we've had to take our time and really get to know the Indigenous nations and stories of Alberta to be able to produce this program in a way that is Indigenous made, at the same time is taking you through a self-discovery process while they're accumulating this information.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
It takes a long time. Like
Yeah.
this overhaul was about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
So you gotta get, it's like a startup, right? You gotta get the funding for it, then you
Yeah.
gotta dedicate the team, the time to it, and then you gotta hit your benchmarks on each creation phase, and then you start the pilot phases. Yeah, 2 programs are under R&D right now.
That's wild, man. Where do you see it going in 5 years from now?
5 years, every kid in Canada has an opportunity to take Heroes. 2030, our goal is 1 million youth per year. It's a good number. It's our moonshot. That's where we're aiming.
And I'm assuming you guys are just based in Canada, right?
We actually have delivered a program last year in Mexico and a bunch actually in Egypt. We've been in Ukraine, Ethiopia over the years, China,
crazy.
in some way, shape, or form. Everywhere that there's kids, there's a reason to have Heroes.
So how are you guys expanding? Is it you that's going out there?
I do a lot of speaking, both at addiction and psychiatric care conferences, and then that's more like on the R&D side, because they're interested in our research. And then most of my speaking, those like teachers conferences, principals conferences, those types of things, sharing about the program, how it's available, how they can use it, what the improvements they can expect to see. That's been a big part of growth. And then we're an amazing growth leader. Our director of growth has just done an amazing job formalizing all those processes. Good CRM, good business operations is essential.
Yeah, it is, right? And how long has this been running for?
31 years. We celebrated 30 years a year ago.
That's wild, man.
Yeah. It started as a life skill program. One guy here in Calgary. That's a cool founder's story. But
31 years.
Yeah. And we're just getting started though.
Well, it seems like you're just getting started. You hit 40 under 40.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Tell us about that. That's a big achievement, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks. For me, it's always been like, how do I advocate better? Like, I guess at my core, what am I? I'm an advocate for youth mental health.
Yeah.
Have been my whole career. What did I do at the Dream Center? This was a homeless organization for men.
Mm-hmm.
I created a youth program. Why? Because that's my purpose. So I was nominated back then.
But weren't you like a pastor before?
Yeah. I did my tour of duty in the family business. But I got out. Happily.
I remember that when we were young. I remember.
That was my early experience in like working with youth was the goal. Like that was to me a vehicle for how can I engage young people? How can I stand in the gap for that next kid?
Yeah.
That was my purpose. I always will be.
Yeah. Now you're, tell us how you got to becoming.
So someone in the community nominates you.
Okay.
I don't know who all the time. So I was nominated twice. Once when I was at the Dream Center, and then another time at Impact Society, and both those times made it to the fill out the full form kind of thing stage, and then didn't get it.
Yeah.
And then this year I was nominated again. So I think it was a board member or donor that nominated me.
Yeah.
And then from there, the full form, talking about your accomplishments. It's all very I'm like, oh man, I don't love bragging about myself.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to be.
So it was like there's forms to fill out. It's kind of like the passport office, but a lot more about like your accomplishments and your passion and your purpose and your favorite song. It was cool. And then they called me, and I had no idea that this was like the call that I received it or anything like that. They just called me. It's like, we had some stuff about your bio that we wanted to check out. I'm like, okay, cool. It's felt like a job interview process, right?
Yeah.
And last thing that the girl said, her name was Sering, actually. Shout out to Sering. Yeah. She was not wearing basketball.
We know a guy named.
She was not wearing basketball shorts. But anyways, last thing she said was, and congratulations again on top 40 under 40. I'm like, what? I made it?
Yeah.
Like, I thought you knew. I'm like, no, this is the first time.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But I think to me it's like important, especially that Calgary recognizes the amazing people who are doing amazing work in innovation. I met a nurse that is a nurse for NASA. She does astronaut training.
Crazy. There must be wild people
are here in this city. Indoor gardening that's just like changing how we do it in a northern, frozen tundra.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool people, and to be recognized to me is just a testament to Impact Society though. At the end of the day, you read the article and to me it was an opportunity for, hey, this is an opportunity for me to share this with this group of people so the impact society is on their mind as we continue to grow.
Yeah.
It's really about creating allies.
Yeah, well, allies, obviously networking with the right people, right? And I guess for you, being CEO and I feel like you have just so much knowledge with mental health and just resilience and overcoming things.
It's a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot, right? What would you say to someone that is going through something and maybe doesn't have the resources? What would you say to them right now if they are going through something like a really bad time in their life, right? Or
honestly, I think the easiest exercise that you could do right now is write 3 things that make you feel strong that are not alcohol or drugs. And the name of one person you can call.
3 things that make you feel strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one person you can call and give them a call. Don't text them, give them a call.
And why is it that you're saying give them a call?
We have a connection deficit in our society.
Oh, yeah.
I think mental health is a symptom of an underlying erosion, if you will, of that human experience that we need to survive. This isn't just a self-actualization, the peak of Maslow. This is a survival need. We need community, we need others. And we're disconnected more than ever. And I think that's a why call. You're going to hear their voice and they'll hear yours.
Yeah, and I think a text message is very...
it's become our mailbox, and our mailbox has become...
Yeah. Definitely a call would... That does help, man. I've called people that I haven't spoke to for a while, and like, I really appreciate your call, right?
And if you can't do the first one, do the second. Like if you can't think of, if you're that low that you're at a spot where you can't think of those 3 things that make you feel strong, skip that question. And then ask that person when they answer your call.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Is there any last things you want to say or any...
Hey, we're doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've known each other for 25 years, man. Like high school, right? So
I know, man. It feels like... It's weird how life just happens from 25. You're 40. I'm almost turning 40, right? And me and Chris have known each other for a while, and I would say we've connected, then not connected, then connected, then not connected. Like that. And I just like every time we see each other, we just, I don't know, I feel like we have great conversations. We've been trying for this podcast for like the last couple of years.
Sorry I bailed last time.
No, it's all good.
I didn't know you were a block away.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
The thing with the podcast, bro, is like Bao is actually one pushing me for it more, right? So he helps with like all the video stuff. So I was like,
clip content's huge,
right? And my guy that I had, I went through like 5 different people, so I was really frustrated with that side of the business. And it's like if you find that support and that help, it's easier to move things along, and it obviously helps you become more resilient, I guess, right? With getting it done. But I wasn't too motivated last time too, because I was like, my guy was like not available, right? But
I think to like the community of entrepreneurs, especially that you're engaging with and that you're an example of, like the connection piece. Like I got mentors that I'll never meet on YouTube. And like that's a place where I go when I need a business strategy, or I need to revisit this like product market fit video that Simon Sinek did 10 years ago. And then there he is. Like it's an opportunity, I think, as well as it's a strength. Strengths can be dangerous as well as beneficial used in the right way.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy now, dude, is like ChatGPT and basically using them as a psychiatrist. Right?
Guilty, yeah.
Right? Like I do that with my business. I do it when I'm dealing with something. And I feel like, it leads to exactly what you're saying. It's just being less disconnected and less wanting to talk to people.
I know. And I'll tell you the truth. I do use it in
Bro,
some
we all
mental health
use it.
capacity
Yeah,
personally.
yeah,
At the
yeah.
same time, I have a therapist
Yeah.
who I check this stuff with before committing to it. And I think the underwriter is more important now more than ever with the amount of BS that can be gotten from ChatGPT on the mental health or the professional side. So if you're the subject matter expert, proofread it. If you aren't, find a subject matter expert. Don't do your own legal before you go and file something or send something or text something or commit to a program.
Yeah, I think you got to have different opinions other than ChatGPT,
Yeah,
right?
it's not a single source of truth.
Right. But yeah, man, times have changed so much for us. I feel like 40 versus the youth, I feel like this is where I think it's going to shift.
Yeah. Wish we had
lot.
this when we were in school.
Yeah, we definitely didn't have like a book or anything, right?
Yeah.
But
And that's
like
what
for
I'd
me,
like
I
to
went
see.
to like self-development courses.
Yeah.
I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of stuff to understand myself, right? And maybe that's something, the youth can do, or if even entrepreneurs or whatever.
Started early.
You got to really start early, so you understand yourself, and then I do think mental awareness is the key to happiness. Once you understand how your brain works and that your thoughts aren't real, and like because you're having like thousands of thoughts every minute, right?
Some people don't have internal dialogues. I'd like to experience that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's understanding that thoughts just come and go, and you're not exactly what you're thinking at all times, right?
You're not your thoughts.
Yeah.
And your thoughts are there to help, not to hinder, but too many tabs open can crash the computer.
Right? Yeah.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah.
And this is
Do you
what
meditate?
we're saying. Yeah, in different seasons for sure. I love meditating when I'm meditating.
It's hard, man.
It's like when I break the habit, getting back into it is hard.
Yeah.
But once I'm in it, I love it, especially like on the Stairmaster. That's the best place to meditate.
Oh yeah.
And
If you could
burn
actually meditate,
calories
like
and meditate
and have
at the same
time for it. Well, I guess everyone has the time to meditate, but like for me, I realized like I'm just more aware that you're definitely not your thoughts.
Yeah. What's crazy? So first profound, like first time I tried meditating for years and was like, no, this doesn't work. My brain never stops. Then I forgot the author. Becoming Supernatural was the book.
Yeah.
And he said the goal of meditation is not to
I think
stop
that's by
thinking.
Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
That's who got me. Joe Dispenza got me into meditating.
He's heavily into meditating, dude.
He's a little too heavy into meditating, but
yeah, he's
specialists, experts are the way they are for a reason.
Yeah. I've read a lot of his books, but if you meditate or if you could just stop thinking for 5 minutes, it's really hard, dude. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, I've been ordered to try sensory deprivation, so
what's that?
Giving it a try. Like there's tanks for it. You can do it at your own home in a bath and just like
I've done
plugs and
those
just
are
like
awesome.
Try and shut it down, and I can do it. Meditating's helped because I learned that it was to focus on one thing versus have nothing, and then I experienced nothing. And
you're supposed to focus on nothing.
Yeah,
that's only one.
No, but that never worked.
Yeah.
So it's like like the fingertip, little thing. I did this program called Positive Psychology, and little thing like rubbing your fingers together to reduce your anxiety. Only think about the feeling of it, and then you experience nothing because now it's just feeling.
Yeah, I mean,
learning to do that was how I went at up to 35, being like, I can't meditate. It's like, no,
bro, you can meditate. Yeah.
I can meditate, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's hard to get back into when you break the cycle, but once you get into it, you're like, I need to do this every day. And get why religion works.
Yeah, no, it helps a lot, right? To get disconnected from your own brain, right? So, yeah, man. Anything else you want to talk about, man?
My brain never stops, so if you ask a question, I won't stop, but I should stop. Probably time to go home soon.
Yeah, no, I think we're good here. We're at 50 minutes. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming and sharing your story. I do appreciate it, and you've made a big impact with the youth, right?
It's just getting started.
I mean, where are we gonna be when we're 60, man? We're gonna have another podcast.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stop. I think the how might change, but I think we're gonna be doing exactly what we've been doing for the last 25 years, and just in an even more effective way 20 years from now.
I don't know, man. AI is taking over a lot of.
We'll
stuff happening.
Survive.
Yeah. We'll adapt. We'll be resilient.
We'll find the gift. Yeah. That's it. You got to lean in and find the gift.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming, man.
Hey, thank you.